All right, folks. Good morning. How's everybody doing today?
Great.
Great.
Awesome.
Great.
Great. Happy Monday. Woo.
Happy Monday to everybody. Okay, I always make you guys make noise before I do this. And then I mute you. Very sorry. I hate to do that, but it makes a much better recording. Okay, today's the 18th of November. You guys all know what that means, right? You really have 6 weeks left, 6 weeks, let's call it, to the year with a couple holidays. But remember, Thanksgiving is a holiday. Christmas is a holiday. They're not hollow weeks. They're not hollow months. They're holidays, which means decide what days you're taking off between now and the end of the year. Take them off, and on the days you're on, be on. Because let's face it, you want to make sure you start the year, okay, with a full pipeline. All right? Now, okay, so that's my message for today. But today we are very lucky from the Camelback office in Arizona. We have an interview today with rock star Kathleen Benton. Kathleen, you have to hit *6 on your phone so we can all hear you. *6. And when you do that, let me know.
Can you hear me now?
Can hear you perfectly. Awesome. Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much for taking some time out this morning. Tell everybody,
it's my pleasure.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. Tell everybody who you are, and maybe give them a little background about yourself, and how you're going to finish this year and what your goal is for next year. If you could do that, that'd be great, Kathleen.
Okay, awesome. I'm Kathleen Benton, and I currently run a team for Berkshire. As you know, we're out of the 32nd Street and Camelback office. And just to give you a little brief history of who I am and where I came from, I have a CPA license. I worked in corporate finance for Motorola for 23 years. I got into real estate in a downturn in 2009 as an investor. I was out trying to buy every property I could in Arizona because, my goodness, what you could buy for $100,000 in 2009 was incredible. And I got very addicted to the real estate world and couldn't stop thinking about it. Probably by the time I got done investing between 2009 and 2013, I'd probably comped, 3,000 homes. It was really competitive at the time. Yeah, so I just made a big decision at the ripe old age of 50 that I was going to leave a big corporate life and start my own real estate business. And I've been doing that ever since. It's been about 5 years now, and I started with a small brokerage called UBG at the time. It was 150 agents. I learned how to be a really, really great agent because they were really big into training. And then I came to Berkshire with the idea that I would grow a team, and it's been phenomenal. It's been incredible what's happened. Every year it's been an award-winning year, and this year will be no different. We're going to close out the year roughly about $15 million in business, and next year we're hoping to do well into the 20s, so 25, 26 million in real estate. So that kind of gives you an idea of who I am.
That's awesome, and it also puts you up there. And you ranked. What did you rank last year? In all the teams in Arizona?
So last year we ranked at 31. This year we're ranked at 19. So we're looking to be in the top 10 here shortly. And then going to number one.
Yeah, you stay at that trajectory. I'm sure you will. It's a pleasure seeing you at the events and in the office when I go there. And I know that every now and then you come to one of my training talks, so I appreciate that as well.
Yes,
right.
I do.
So,
I'm a big fan of yours.
So you're running a team now.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about your team and the breakdown and all that stuff. We'd love to hear that.
Well, that's been interesting. I have a process we call it the Playbook. So it's basically our customer service on what we do for clients. And my idea is that we have an entire ops team and an entire transaction management team that where agents are just doing what they do best, going out and getting clients and then bringing them in, getting them under contract, and then handing them off to the experts that know how to please customers along the whole process from contract to close. So I've been building a structure like that. We have a process called EOS, which is Entrepreneur Operating System, where everybody knows exactly what they should be doing at any given time. We're kind of like the Chicago Bulls on the court. We just have to repetitively know what to do when things happen, so we can scale, because that's the only way you can scale is when it's routine, when it's processed out, where all the the steps are lined out for everybody, and everybody's on the same court playing the same game.
Love it, love it. And how many people? I love it. The Chicago Bulls. I'm assuming you're talking Michael Jordan days.
Yeah, yeah, I am. I'm old. I know. It's like it's the Jordan days.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like I'm not interested in being a family because families can be dysfunctional. I'm interested in being a great team on the court. So that's what we shoot for every day. Yeah.
Yeah, I just read a book by the guy who I can't even think of his name right now because I'm terrible with names, unfortunately. But I just read a book about 2 months ago, or listened to it, of the guy who trained Michael Jordan, and
was it called Relentless?
Amazing. Relentless. There you go. Thank you. That's the one.
Yeah, it's a great book. Relentless is a great book.
Relentless. That's exactly it. Okay, so give us the breakdown. How many people do you have on your team, and all that good stuff?
Okay. Yeah, so I have 4 of us that are in sales. I have a transaction manager, and then I have an operations manager. And then this year I hired a sales and marketing director who's been awesome at helping us create a brand that's consistent through all markets. He's been really instrumental in helping us grow the digital world as far as lead generation and that kind of thing. So all in all, there are 7 of us when I count all the support staff. So growing.
Okay. All right, cool. That's so awesome. All right, great.
Yeah.
Now, and I know that you guys, I know you guys are a prospecting group too, aren't you?
Yes, big time prospectors. Yes, in all kinds of ways.
Well, yeah, and that's exactly what I think everybody would love to hear, how you guys make your contacts and break it up and what lead sources, all that good stuff, please.
Okay, so my goal when I bring an agent on the team is always to figure out what they do best and what they love. Usually what they love and what they do best go hand in hand. So not everybody's going to be, a phone caller. Like I have one agent, she's on my team. She loves to call expired. That's just her thing. She thinks it's efficient. It doesn't bother her, all the harassment that she gets on the phone. She gets up at 7:30 in the morning. She calls until noon. She does it consistently, and she gets business. That's just it. I have another agent. Yeah, I think you do too.
Yeah.
I have another agent that loves to do open houses. For me personally, I came from a big database, so I have a big sphere of influence. That's where I primarily focus. I do the Buffini method with loving on people as much as I can. And that's where a lot of the bulk of my business comes from. I have another agent that really likes the digital world, so she's answering our phones every time we get a digital lead. She's hustling on the phone that way, and she just loves it when her phone lights up with a new lead. So that's her thing. We have done pretty much every kind of prospecting you can. We do a lot of door knocking. We knock probably 100 doors a week. As a team, we love to do it. We're doing it a much more targeted way these days with Remind and those kind of tools that help us go to the doors that have high probability. We invite neighbors to grand openings that we have for listings. We do circle prospecting. You name it, we've done it. It just depends on what you like to do, and we just have you go out and do it.
Right. That's awesome. I love it. And you covered a lot of lead sources there. And one of the things is that, especially in Arizona, and the turnover rate is so incredible. There's really no bad way to contact people as long as you're contacting them, right?
That's right. It's just staying in front of people and having real estate conversations every day in a way that's not, offensive to people, in a way that we're just providing value. Providing
value and information. So important too, yes. Yeah, and I know a couple of my prospecting events, I know you guys showed up as a group to prospect, which was really cool. So do you guys carve out times, or is it flexible? Do you have them report numbers? How exactly do you get them to do it?
So every morning at 8 o'clock in the morning, we have what we call a huddle. So for 30 minutes, we're huddling as a team. We talk about, we start out with an inspirational quote, where we are in our mind that morning, and then we talk about what our day looks like. I'm pretty flexible on when they do it as long as they're doing something. But we just talk about what the structure of that day looks like. And then every Monday morning, we have what we call a Rocks meeting, which is our accountability meeting, where we go through the pipeline, we go what's happening with clients, and we also go through what our prospecting looks like for the week previous. So we do that as a team every Monday.
Wow, that's awesome. Great stuff. Okay, so how about you now? You as the team lead, what is a typical, like, what does a daily schedule look like for you?
Oh my gosh. it's really difficult to pin down what a typical, and I like it that way, Rick. You know, when I was in corporate, every day looked like the same. But now it's like it's so dynamic that I love it. But my day, if I were to have an ideal day, right, I would be huddling with the team in the morning, level setting everybody for the day, and then just having appointments all day long, either doing listing appointments or fire appointments or prospecting appointments. I love to go to lunch with people, coffee, dinner, happy hours, networking, that kind of thing. Just out and about talking to people about Arizona real estate. That's a typical day for me. It's
so
usually pretty long, but I love it. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. So in order for you guys to reach your goal, I know you gave us millions of dollars, but what is that transactionally, and how does that break down for you? Or do you focus on like that, like listing sold versus buyer sales?
Well, I can tell you for sure that we're heavy on the list side. So we do a lot of listing. We're about 65% list to buy ratio right now, which is pretty incredible considering that there's only 12,000 homes for sale in Phoenix.
Right.
I mean, there's very little for sale in this state, that's for sure. But I do have a couple of really good buyer agents on my team. And I don't really necessarily look to transaction, but we do roughly between 35 to 40 transactions in a year. We're scaling up on the average cost per sale. So our average cost per sale is about $416,000 right now, but we're looking to get more than that. We're in that Biltmore area, and so we're really going to start to focus on some of the homes in there. We joined the luxury tour, that kind of thing, to get more into the upper end of Phoenix. So we've been really focusing on breaking through that market. If we did 3 sales a year and it were, $10 million homes, that'd be fine with me too. It doesn't really matter. I'm just looking at sales volume at this point in time.
Okay, cool. Now, just so everybody understands, like out of all 3 of our markets, Arizona has the most listings, it appears, because you guys are the 5th largest city in the country. But when you started in the business, there was probably, 50,000 homes on the market.
45,000 homes on the market when I started. Yeah, and there's
now there's a little over 12
today. Yep.
Yeah, and 13.
Yep.
Yeah. So
12,
in perspective.
70. Yep.
Yeah, and the last 2, and it might even be 3 years now, you guys have basically gone down in inventory in excess of 20%. I think this year was 23%.
Absolutely. Yeah, we have 2 months of inventory, and I'm a native in this state. I've never seen inventory this low in my life, ever. So it's
which
been
is really good if you're a listing
incredible.
agent.
I know. It means that we're fighting over listings, that's for sure. It's a dog-eat-dog world out there right now.
It is from a listing standpoint. And California is even tighter, and Nevada is actually Nevada's a different type of market. But yeah, Arizona, I tell them all the time, Arizona is like the perfect storm real estate numbers-wise because of the amount of expireds that happen per day. There's always FSBOs. Yeah. The turnover rate's 9%, right? Would you agree? Tell us a little bit about that. How do you feel about all those numbers?
Yeah, I see it all the time, Rick, right? It's like Arizona's always been a huge real estate market, which is probably why we have a lot of real estate agents in the state. But just the ability to, and I've seen it go up and I've seen it go down. And there were years, in my 20s that nobody ever thought they'd ever live in Arizona. But now they're just coming in droves. We have 60,000 people coming from California every year. We have people, the boomers are retiring, right? And they're coming to Florida. They're coming to Arizona. They're filling up our real estate and putting a tremendous demand, especially in our senior areas. And then the millennials are all coming of age. So they're going to put more and more demand. We are 2 million houses undersold right now in the Phoenix area, and it's just going to get worse. So I keep telling people, the more you own real estate in the state, the better off you'll be, because in 10 years, we could be the next Bay Area. Honestly, it could be so expensive to live here that it's hard. We have to solve the the low income housing problem, because there just isn't anything hardly available unless you want to live in an apartment or a condo. And a lot of people don't. So there is some challenges that way, but it's phenomenal to see what's happening to this state. They're just coming here like crazy. Tech is coming. Big companies are coming. They're moving from California to here. 23% of our growth in corporate has been from California because it's just cheaper. It's just cheaper.
Yeah.
So it's
like so
much
on
cheaper. Fire on so many ways. I know. On fire.
Yeah.
So I'm loving
California.
it. I'm loving it.
Yeah. Our 3 markets, California, I mean, California never has to worry because they always have so many people moving in and they have such a tight inventory. But you're right. There's a tremendous amount of people moving from California and from to Arizona and into Nevada too. So it's great. That's why it's a great tri-state agreement there. So
right.
Yeah. And
yes.
I wanted you to go through that because I wanted everybody to hear, you know, that you know your numbers, you know what's going on with the market. It's so important when you're talking to people on your listing appointments and such, right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. People ask me all the time, you know, what's happening in the market. I mean, people don't follow this every day, right? So they love to know what's happening. Even if they're not thinking about buying or selling, it still affects usually the biggest asset that people own, which is their home. So it's so important to me that myself and my team be on top of exactly what's happening in the real estate market so they can make smart decisions when we tell them what's going on.
Absolutely. I love it. Okay. So obviously everybody on this call has heard Kathleen Benton talk now for 15, 16 minutes. It's very, very obvious. You're upbeat, positive, you know, and I, you know, whenever I hear somebody upbeat and positive like you, as I know you, I always say to myself, you have to have a routine to be like that. So share with them, how do you stay upbeat and positive like you are?
Oh, sure. I'd love to. Well, most mornings I'm up by 5 o'clock, and I'm big into an active lifestyle. So I am going to I made a decision recently that I'm going to be training for Ironman next year in November, which will be big. In case you don't know, that's a 2.5-mile swim, 130 miles on the bike, and then 26-mile run.
Then a marathon, yeah.
Yeah. But I love to hike, I love to bike, I like to run. So every morning I'm doing that. I spend a lot of time up on the mountain because I live close to the Camelback area in meditation form, just giving my mind a break from the hustle and the bustle of the world and just concentrating on, you know, focusing in on what's important in the present moment. So I spend a lot of time in the mornings doing that. And then I get to the office about 9 o'clock and it just really charges my day and I just go hard most of the day. But I think just staying in a sense of service, I think that's been my biggest thing. And I realized that leadership is really just about being in the mind of service, whether I'm servicing my agents or my clients or my friends or my family. It helps me stay connected to my heart. So I'm not in my head 100% of the time, but I really try hard to stay connected to who I am and what I bring to the real estate world and to the world in general. So that's kind of about what I do.
That's so awesome. It sounds like a healthy mix of the Richard Branson and Zig Ziglar. You know, you help enough people. You're incredible to your employees, and then you help enough people get what they want. You always get what you want.
And that is the truth. That is the truth. So, watching somebody come alive and just light up and be successful is like the biggest, it's what makes me the happiest. Honestly, it does. Watching an agent just become a rock star is just phenomenal. Phenomenal.
That's so awesome. And just, I speaking of the Ironman, I actually know, I worked with at Mike Ferry, Maverick Malik. He's the world record holder for a legally blind person doing the Ironman in and when he did his half Ironman in Lake Mead and so forth, I was the guy in the kayak yelling at him, left, because he can see enough to bike and run, but he can't see enough in the water, awesome. So he needs an assist in the water, and that was me slapping the paddle and yelling at him. So yeah, that's an incredible thing. That's an incredible thing to train for.
Awesome. Oh yeah, it was really cool to help him. Yeah. And doing it blind, I can't even imagine.
Exactly. And how many times he crashes on the bike, because he can see, but really limited. Yeah. So that's amazing. So
my God.
That's going to be such an experience for you. I'm so glad you're decided to do that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so this is, I want to bring it full circle here. We got about 9 minutes left, and I want you to explain to them. Okay, so you went from corporate America, you went to, you were an investor, and now you're a real estate rock star running an awesome team. So everything that you know today, all right, if you could boil it down into the 3, what would you tell them? Somebody who's brand new or somebody who is, wanting to go to the next level, what would be the 3 most important things you would tell them to focus on right from the get-go?
Well, one of the things that I did that I think was really, really well, I know that was really, really instrumental in helping me launch a business was the first year, Rick, I just became a huge education sponge. I wanted to learn everything and anything I could. I think that first year I had 64 hours of CE classes because I just was absorbing everything and anything that anybody that had come before me did. And I sat in front of some of the greats. I sat in front of Joanne and Joseph Calloway, Carol, I just drew. She's a big real estate agent in the East Valley. Andrew Bloom, some of the people that had come before me and were very successful. Russell Shaw actually taught me how to do a listing presentation. That man has done more listing presentations in Arizona than anybody else I know. And he's a powerhouse, and he's willing to sit down with you and teach you whatever it is that he knows. So that was really instrumental in that first year. I just needed to know everything. So I just was every class, everything I could do, I did. And it was really, really powerful because then I learned a lot and then I could incorporate it. And that kind of brings me to the second thing is you can't do it like anybody else. That's the hard thing that you have to realize is it really has to be you. It has to be authentic. People are like dogs. They can smell fake a mile away. So it's really got to be something that you internalize and here's who I am and here's what I bring, right? Joanne and Joseph did it their own way because it was authentic and it was real and it was them. They got great business from it. Russell Shaw was a comedian and a DJ before he went into real estate. He's freaking hilarious. And so I'm sure that helped his business. So I just realized like it has to be who I am and to incorporate that into my business. And it wasn't always easy to find that cadence, but once you do and it's authentic, then things they'll just happen. And then the third thing is, and I know you hear this all the time, everybody hears this, but growing a database that is whatever system you decide to use, being methodical about it. You are in the relationship building business, and those relationships that you build are extremely critical, not only for your business, but for you as a human being and for the planet, and really, really connecting to people in a deep, meaningful way to where they get the idea that you're really on their side. It's not about commission. It's not about you turning a transaction. It's really about helping them make an important decision in their life. And so growing that kind of database and keeping all those details and making sure you're reaching out are just critical. So those are the three things that I would tell a new agent. Well, I do tell a new agent when they join my team to help them in this business.
Yeah, learn, as I like to say, learn to earn. So you spent your first X amount of time, almost a year it sounded like, just learning, be a student. And it sounds like you obviously, like myself, you're totally into audiobooks and books and reading, aren't you?
Yes, 52 a year. I easily read 52 books a year. So, it's just you just have to constantly be in that learning phase. I just got my broker's license, and I'm actually going to teach now at the Arizona School of Real Estate, which I'm really excited about. So, so it's just always in that. I think when you're a teacher, you almost learn more than the students do.
You do, and I say that all the time. I learned as much as the thousands of agents I coached. Mike Ferry. When I did it on my own for a while here, and so you learn a lot. And I love to be authentic too. And I'm going to tell you, folks, people can smell when you're inauthentic, even in your videos and your social media. Okay, so I totally agree with. And then the database is the key. All the top producers I speak to always have that as one of their points. The database, have great notes. Start from the beginning. You're never too small to start building that database.
Absolutely.
And the other thing I want to mention is like when I was in selling real estate and I had my team, you mentioned top people sharing. I a few times a year. I mean, don't get me wrong. I was in New England. I was far compared to, but people would come in and shadow me. I've let people come in and shadow me for a day because it makes me sharper that day too. When I know somebody's coming in to follow me around for a whole day, right? So people who are producers don't mind helping people who want to be.
Right.
Exactly. All right, cool.
Don't. I love it.
Yeah. Well, we have a couple minutes left. Any final thoughts you want to leave? By the way, thank you very much. This was incredibly awesome. It'll be on my podcast. Folks, everybody, it'll be on the Podbean app, the podcast app, and while I'm doing a shameless plug here, don't forget to join my YouTube channel too. So Kathleen, final thoughts. Anything you want to leave them? Hey, always be selling. Right?
Yeah. Just a final thought. My goal and my purpose in my business is to put the professional back in the profession, because this is a huge, huge thing that we're helping people do. And I really want people, when they think of real estate agents, to think of us as highly as they would think a doctor that just did a successful heart surgery on them. So we really have to bring professionalism back into this world of real estate. And I'm really wanting us as a community to come together to do that, to add value for people as real estate agents. And I think that's an important thing to close on, because it's just going to be critical on whether we survive all this technology or not.
That's awesome. And I love, as Oprah would say, that's a tweetable moment. Bring the professionalism back into your profession. That's such a great quote. Love it.
That's right.
Well, awesome.
Okay.
Kathleen, I just want to say thank you very much. Myself, Mark Gordon,
You're
really
welcome.
appreciate you showing up today. You are the best.
My pleasure.
Everybody else,
thank you, Don.
We'll do this again in the week. And hey, how about this? Happy Thanksgiving to everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Happy holidays. Okay, bye, Rick.
Thank
bye,
you, Kathleen.
everybody.
Appreciate it.
Okay, bye-bye.